I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Oh, man, what a day, what a day. Give me a second here. Damn it. Tell you what, Chat GPT is probably the most useless thing I've ever encountered in my entire life. It's just nuts. Totally ridiculous. Give me 1 second here. Okay, well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a day. It is just about 9:10 p.m. If you're watching this live, 9:10 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. And as the intro says, as you heard it right there live from Mr. Howard Beale himself, played by, what's his name? Fitch? Peter Fitch. Sorry, I'm doing a couple things at once. Yeah, okay, sorry. Sorry. I was sharing some things there. As Howard Beale said in Network, you know, I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Like, everybody's out of work or scared of losing their jobs. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. I think he may have said in there, people are on rooftops shooting people for speech. I think he said that somewhere in there, but I might have cut it out for the intro. I don't know. Yeah, right. Kate heard it. I think she's talking to me. She is talking to me. Sometimes it's hard to tell. I am mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Yep, that's exactly right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 551st. What episode is this? I see. It's totally crazy. What episode is this? 521. 521st episode of the Political Spotlight, and I may or may not be your host, Kristopher Bilbrey. So I had a couple of things that I had planned to talk to you about. And then earlier in the day, Charlie Kirk, who I'm going to be honest, I've never truly been a fan of, walked onto a campus to engage in political discourse and got shot in the throat and died. So we can talk about that in a place where people will allow me to talk about it. I also have to apparently also go down through the list of every other gun violent activity that's occurred since the beginning of time. I think I'm even being told I have to talk about the very, 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 very first murderer, and Victor. We got to talk about Cain and Abel, and we got to go all the way up from Cain and Abel, hitting every single other tragedy in order for me to be able to talk about this situation with Charlie Kirk and not be, I don't know, I guess insensitive or out of touch or bad or mean or a bigot or, a Nazi or whatever. So let me get that list ready. Hold on a second. Kate, did you send me that list? Oh, Kate didn't send it to me. It's Kate's fault. She didn't send me that list of all those other people. So I will say this. Besides, we'll get to Charlie Kirk in 1 second. We will get to Charlie Kirk in just 1 second. I do have to mention that there was a school shooting today that occurred in Colorado. It is a tragic situation. 3 students, along with the gunman at Evergreen High School, apparently sustained bullet wounds. So I'm going to stop here for just 1 second, and I want to talk about this for a moment. And we're going to be real down to earth here and talk about this. So I'm going through a situation currently in my life where I have a grandfather, my step-grandfather is in his 90s and is not doing well health-wise. I think I've wrongly said like actively dying. You know, people think like you're alive and you die, and that does happen sometimes. But there are other situations where you don't die like this. It happens over a period of time. I don't know that I would say he's actively dying. He's still living. He's having some issues, and he's not doing well. But like my mom and stepdad are going up and seeing him like every day or every other day, and doing this, and that's bad, and that's a tragic thing for me and my family. My stepfather, he's lived a nice long life. He's like in his 90s, and his spouse of many years, she passed away a couple years ago, and so it's bad, and it's bad for my stepdad. This will be his second parent that will go, and so that's a thing, and that's a tragedy and a bad thing in our life. And I can talk about it, and you guys can say, oh, I'm sorry that you're going through this. But as soon as you say that, or you might say, well, I'm going to offer you thoughts and prayers, and you're meaning it in a comforting way. But as soon as you're done as soon as you say that, you're done with that. You go on about your life, and then we're still experiencing that. And that's okay. I don't think that you're a bad person. I've lost my father. And when I talk about that to people, like I can understand people being like, oh, I'm sorry that you've done that. Like people that know, or people that don't know. Someone might be like, well, if they don't know me, they're like, well, yeah, your parents. And I'm like, well, my dad passed away. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. When they say that, they mean those words, or maybe they don't. And I don't care if they mean them or not. I appreciate the sentiment, but I am okay to understand that losses that I'm going to suffer in my life, they don't particularly affect you. So it's crazy to me, first of all, that we have a bunch of people that don't understand that when someone, like, for example, for the people that listen to me regularly, if something just happened to me all of a sudden, God forbid, if something just happened to me, there are people in here that are watching this. There are people that would probably be happy. There are people that would be not happy. There would be people that would be upset. And then there would be different versions of the upsetness depending on how close you are to me. Okay, so like people that are like my life friends, because some of you know me and you feel you know me, you watch me and you hear me, but we don't know each other. Outside of you watching this, you don't know me. We don't share anything in life. But, when you do that, it's kind of like when Paul McCartney dies, okay? Or John Lennon was shot, and, everybody's all up in arms over this and upset, and they're sad for days and days because those people touched them. They didn't know those people really, but they gravitate to them. It's different for somebody when you say, well, John Lennon died, and someone's like, oh my God, that's tragic. I love the Beatles. They were the soundtrack to my life. Versus when I say, hey, the co-founder of Supertramp died. You might be like, oh my God, that's horrible. I don't know who that is. The co-founder of Supertramp, I can name you Supertramp songs, but you might be like, I don't know one Supertramp song. There might be somebody out there saying like, I can't tell, what is Supertramp? You don't even know it's a band. So here's the thing. It's okay for people to have different thoughts about people. And it's okay for someone to say, oh, Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. Like, Charlie Kirk's somebody I listen to. Charlie Kirk is somebody I resonate with. I like things that Charlie Kirk says. He speaks to me, and this makes me sad. And it's okay for them to not necessarily be so sad when, say, for example, somebody else that they speak to, like, for example, in all of the political creators and the political content creators and the political commentators, Charlie Kirk is not somebody that I listen to on a daily basis. I know him. I know his content. I know things of him. There's things that I like. There's things that I don't like. But he's not somebody that I listen to on a frequent basis. So it doesn't touch me the same way as it does somebody who listens to him every day, watches all the content, and really feels like they know him. Now, it touches me because I don't like the fact that we have political violence, that somebody was shot. He literally put on a white shirt that said freedom. This man wore a shirt that said freedom, and he was shot in the throat today because people don't like what they think that he represents. And a lot of it is what they think that he represents. I didn't call this episode the death of Charlie Kirk or the death, political violence gone amok. I called this the death of intelligence. I'm so sick of everybody needs to give it a rest on social media. Everybody's going crazy. We now have the vice president of the Muncie Human Rights Commission who's literally in a post. Here's what kills me. So somebody, and I'm not going to name these people out because I didn't ask, I didn't get permission. I am going to name the vice president of the Human Rights Commission because this person holds a position. But somebody made a post that many in the community would consider to be a left-leaning, progressive, far progressive person. Now, there are aspects of this person's life that might make you think that. I know this person from talking to them, and I think that they're far more moderate than a lot of people think. But this person makes a post not saying, "Woohoo! We've got violence. Woo, yes, wonderful." This person made a post, this progressive, quote unquote, far-leaning left liberal person in the community makes a post that says, "We don't murder people we disagree with. That is not the answer." And I loved it. I loved that. Seeing who this came from, I was like, yes, that's great. That's absolutely wonderful, Alva. That's absolutely wonderful. But then in the comments of that post, the current vice president of the Muncie Human Rights Commission, in response to that person, because the person said, we don't want to see this because all it's going to be is retribution. This person says, well-needed retribution, in my opinion. This man, as well as all of his buddies on the right, so I guess I'm not Charlie Kirk's buddy. We've never had lunch together. I'm on the right, so does this tie me into this? I don't know if it ties me into that specifically or not. Okay. And I'm happy to hear that, Tweety Bird. I'm not happy to hear that you've been upset by it, but I know you, and I know that you are, I know that you're progressive, and I know that you are person and human enough that you would say you don't like this and this upsets you. But I want you to understand this, because this is not just politics, man. This isn't Washington, D.C. stuff. This is right here at home in our own community, in our very, very, very own community. All right. I want you to hear this. My phone just died, so give me a second, because I'm going to the comment. So the comment that I'm referring to, this person, the person that made the post said, "We don't murder people we disagree with. That's not the answer." And yeah, I agree 100%. That's perfect. That is a well thought out response. I agree 100%. And I'm telling you, this person's probably getting dogged right now by people of their own party because they made a post like that, because there are people out there that say, we do murder people we disagree with. Isn't that what's happening during every war? Isn't that what we did to Hitler, to Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden? Listen, if we are comparing Charlie Kirk going on a campus where it's supposed to be a place of higher education, a place of thought, a place of context, a place of being able to speak and debate and being able to agree and disagree, a place for higher education where thoughts and ideas should be able to go and flourish and debate and push back and forth. And that's the thing. Everybody watches Charlie Kirk in little blurbs of 30-second little reel on Facebook or a 15-second blurb on YouTube. But people don't really go and watch the longer videos, which there's context that you're losing, because he never shouts things down. You might hate what he says, but he doesn't do it in hate. You might think, well, that sounds hateful, but he's there. He's very polite. He gives his opponents the other microphone to speak. He gives them the floor. He doesn't bully over them. He lets them speak, and they debate, and they might go away disagreeing, but there's context and there's nuance there. But people are literally comparing him for doing that, wearing a shirt saying freedom, to Hitler, Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, comparing this to war. So the person that made the original post said, yeah, we do that. We kill those people in war, but if we consider ourselves civilized, we ought not to. All today will bring is retribution. It never ends. Well, I disagree with the retribution, because we're not going to see a bunch of conservatives going out and getting on rooftops and shooting people. That's not happening. That's not going to happen. There are sick people, And I don't care if they're sick people that are white or sick people that are black or sick people that are trans or sick people that are straight or gay or sick people that, we live in a world where there are preachers and priests that molest kids. Anything is possible. Okay. So I don't know that retribution will come in the way that these people are thinking, but this person, Stephen Knipp, the vice president of the Muncie Human Rights Commission, says, well-needed retribution, in my opinion. This man, as well as all of his buddies on the right, have constantly provoked hate and violence towards other people and condoned gun violence. Now, listen, I've listened to Charlie Kirk. I've never heard him condone gun violence. I know what these people are saying. These people are referring to a quote where Charlie Kirk said, basically, freedom, living free is scary. It doesn't mean we just take up and give all the freedoms away because it's scary. We live in a world where people are going to abuse the system. People are going to abuse the laws. And people do bad things. And if people's not going to kill you with a gun, they're going to kill you with a knife. And if they're not going to kill you with a knife, they're going to kill you with a stick. If somebody is mental and crazy and wants to hurt you, they're going to hurt you. They're going to hurt you. Okay? And so Charlie Kirk made a quote saying, in this world, it's better for the good guys to have the guns and there be these guns out here, and you're going to have bad shit happen. We live in a country where there's how many people live here? 355 million people live in America. Is that right? 355 million. He goes on to say, these people provoked hate and violence towards other people and condoned gun violence to protect the NRA and people having open, unrestricted access to guns. They cheered on Kyle Rittenhouse's murder of a peaceful protesters. I don't know that anybody was up there cheering him on. People had commentary after the fact. That's what happens. We live in America. You don't like the Second Amendment. Now we don't want the First Amendment, right? Is that right? We can't talk about it after the fact. This person goes on to say he deserved this, meaning Charlie Kirk deserved this. And I hope he is only the first. Listen to what this says. This is the vice president of the Muncie Human Rights Commission, Stephen Knipp. He deserved this. He is Charlie Kirk. So I'm going to replace he and Charlie Kirk so we know. Charlie Kirk deserved this. And I hope Charlie is only the first. It is time they reap the hate, fear, and violence they have sown. This man is the cause to this circumstance. He is neither a victim nor a hero. It is odd to me that people who are so willing to speak out against the shooting of this man, but have remained silent about the ongoing slaughter happening in Israel's genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. What are we doing? Why do we have to compare? Why is it's all whataboutism? Well, you're sad Charlie Kirk died. What about this guy? You're crying about Charlie Kirk. You didn't say sorry to me for the loss of my father. You can't say anything about Charlie Kirk because my stepdad's mom died 2 years ago. What in the hell? That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy. Well, I say, first off, the president of the Human Rights Commission is Rose Selvey. So I think first and foremost, we need to call on Counselor Rose Selvey. She needs to go to her vice president and she needs to ask him to resign for these comments. Tweety Bird, I will There are pictures being posted everywhere of the comments of the comment I just shared. But I will send you. I'm not outing the person. It is on social media, but I'm not doing that because people are lunatics. Okay, I'm not trying to hurt anyone or get anyone hurt. But I will send you, Tweety Bird. When we get off of here, I will send you the link to the post. I'm trying to figure out how to do it now. Give me a second. And I will send it to you. Okay, Tweety Bird, I am sending this in Messenger to your real name on Facebook. Okay, so I'm sending this to your real name on Facebook in Messenger. I just sent it to you. And the last post you sent to me there was April 30th. So I just sent it to you so you can click and see it. Here's the deal. The bottom line, and I'm not even the whole show is not going to be about that post. That's just one stupid thing. There's other things going on. I posted. I am what you're not the president of the board. Who's the president of the board? City Hall has you listed as the here I'll show you that. City Hall has you, so you might tell them to deal with that. He's the president. Okay. All right. So this is even crazier. So the guy making these statements is the president. That's bad. Well, okay. So I will say this. I will go look at that timing issues. Then if you're on the board, I would say you and the rest of the board probably need to ask this person to step down. Wow. Shocking. Absolutely. Timing. I just got that. Yeah, it's totally insane. This is definite. So I was talking to my grandparents today, and my grandpa said something that a lot of people say, that everybody in this country is crazy, and everybody's so torn apart, and one side hates the other side, and they both hate each other. And I was talking, and I said, here's the deal. I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't believe there's as much hate out there as what we're being whipped up to believe. I think if people talk one-on-one with people, that hate doesn't exist. There are disagreements, yes. There are people that don't think right, but people are not thinking beyond the social media aspect of this. I've always talked about this for a very long time, and I'm going to say this again. We live in a world where here in America, we're still a very young country. And for so long, what did everybody tell you? Everybody said, don't talk about politics. Don't talk about religion. You don't talk about politics, and you don't talk about religion. Keep those thoughts to yourself. What did they do in the ancient times and in Greece and in Rome, where they had the town squares, and people would go out and share thoughts, and the great philosophers of the day, they would lay around in their muumuus, and they would have these classes of kids, and well, not that part. That's the whole weird part where they were like also raping them. So don't do that part. But the part where they were sharing thoughts, I disagree with that. It starts at the bottom. It starts at the bottom and works up to the top. We are greater than the top. I'm not putting this is not a Trump thing. I'm putting it to you this way. As much as Trump owns this, Biden owns it. Or let's get rid of them. Let's say Bush and Al Gore. whatever you want to say. At the top, they're just two idiots. And whatever idiot you want to say, it's an idiot that's a Republican and it's an idiot that's a Democrat. And the whole thing does not matter. They're the same damn people. If you take Trump's mask off, he's Biden. And if you take Biden's mask off, he's Trump. It's all the same thing. I don't care. It does not start at the top. That's the problem that we're at. It starts at the bottom and we work up. If we started doing that more, if we realized that it's the bottom working and pushing up to the top, things would be better. That's the whole problem. That's the whole basis of why I do a show to begin with, is getting people involved. Quit worrying about what's going on in DC as much and worrying about what's going on in your hometown, in your home state, because if we could affect local politics and we could put people in that were good at the local level, those people would feed up to the state level. And if we had good people at the state level, those people then would eventually feed up to the national level. Quit worrying about the bottom, top down. It's bottom up. We need to get bigger, better, and we need to be more educated and not continue this death of intelligence. They used to sit around in the olden days and talk about ideas and philosophy and thoughts and politics and discuss all of this. But we, for so long, said, no, you can't talk about these two things. You can't talk about these two things. And everybody shut up. Everybody was quiet. No one said anything. Everybody was afraid. Okay. And then along come the message boards and AOL. And what did they used to tell us back in the olden days? Don't give your name. Don't post your picture. Don't tell anybody who you are. So we all developed screen names and we all went on AOL and we all went on the Star Press forums. We all created fake names. And for years, people were going in there and all of a sudden, people were posting what they thought because they were hidden behind these screen names and behind these fake pictures. And everyone's like, wait a minute. I can tell this guy he's a jerk. I can tell this guy I think he's a dumbass. I can tell this guy that I'm sleeping with his wife. I can tell this guy that I'm sleeping with him. I can tell this, I can tell this and that and whatever. And people got used to saying whatever they wanted to say. And people didn't, they were like, wait a minute. I said some pretty crazy shit and I just didn't get punched in the face. And then the screen names started melting away and they started melting away. And then we posted as our real names. Now it's not, The Rock 69 or Bigger Dixon 45. Now it's Kristopher Bilbrey. Now it's Kate Thornburg. Now it's Alva, whatever. And people then are like, well, wait a minute. I'm still here in my house in my underwear. No one's coming to get me. And I've been saying what I want for so long. So people got addicted to saying what they want. But now they're saying it with their name. So now we're in a situation where everyone's spewing shit out. Everyone feels like they have an absolute right to be heard. You don't have a right to be heard. You have a right to speak. You don't have a right to be heard. You have a right to speak, not to necessarily be heard. No one has to give a shit about anything you say, or me, or anyone else. But we've all got this thing where we think, well, we got to be right. We're going to be right. We got to say it. We got to post it out here. And now people are all spewing this shit, but no one can actually sit down and talk and debate. And it's all this whataboutism. And you're not crying for my guy. You're crying for your guy. And how dare you? And well, you're crying for that guy, but you're not crying for these poor kids over here. You're not crying for these, these hungry people over there, or the people being bombed in this country. It's like, slow your roll. It's okay for people to have causes and cares that they're, look, I don't want violence. I don't want anybody to be hurt. I don't want anyone to be hurt. But if you're telling me about some crime that happened in a city that I've never been to, as opposed to some crime that's happening in my hometown, I'm going to care more about the crime in my hometown than I do about a crime in, New York. That's just common sense. Or if you tell me about a crime in New York versus a crime in Prague, I'm probably going to care more about the crime in New York than I do in Prague. It's just common sense works that way. So, first of all, it's okay for different people to mourn this guy. It's okay for people. It's okay if you say, I like Charlie Kirk and I'm upset about this. It's okay for you to say, well, I don't really like Charlie Kirk and this doesn't affect me really, and I don't care. It's okay for you to say that. However, we should all say political violence has no place. Political violence has no place. I posted earlier the picture of Charlie, and I posted his date of birth and his date of death, and I simply said, totally uncalled for, no words, and I posted his name and his date of birth and date of death, and a couple people commented underneath that. And one of the people that commented said, make sure you give time to John Hoffman, Melissa Hortman, and her husband if we're going to talk about uncalled for political killings. Well, how dare someone tell me that? You mean before I can mourn this recent tragic death that happened 4 hours ago, I've got to bow down and give some. I've got to show someone else's. I've got to mourn someone else's situation that they care about, and I've got to show them that I'm doing that before I can care about this. First of all, I talked about the senseless killing of John Hoffman, Melissa Hortman, and her husband. I talked about that 3 months ago when it happened. I called it complete bullshit. I said that guy was a lunatic. I wanted him caught. I wanted him to be captured. We talked about it for multiple episodes. I made multiple posts about it. It was uncalled for when it happened then. It happened then. And it was uncalled for then, and I showed my loss, my concern, my heartbreak then. Yeah, it's still heartbreaking today, and I still mourn for those people, and I'm still upset that that happened, and I still think it's ridiculous that it happened, and I still don't like it. But today, let me mourn for the children at the high school, and let me mourn for for Charlie Kirk, and for his wife and his 2 very small children. Let me do that. First off, how about you don't get to dictate who or when I mourn for what or where or how or why. You don't get a say in what my thought. You can say it all you want, but I can tell you to flip saying I don't give a shit about it. Your thought. If you want to spend today thinking about the senseless murder of John Hoffman, Melissa Hortman, and her husband, have at it. But while you're talking about that being a senseless homicide, don't be cheering for the murder of a man who put on a white t-shirt that said freedom. It didn't say, I hate the Jews. It didn't say, hang black people. It didn't say, I don't believe in gay people. I hate gay people. It said freedom. Freedom. Think about that. Here's what's interesting to me. What's interesting is, so let me show you this, because I was very happy about this, and there are people out there that have different thoughts about what people should have said, how people should have said things. Look, I'm fine. Anybody has the right to speak out about this in any way they want, but you have to. You have to look at how it comes across and what are you doing? What are you adding? Are you adding to the problem? Are you subtracting? Are you giving to it? Are you, what's going on? Okay, so I want you to look at this. Let me pull this up here. Okay, so this, I can respect this. Okay, I can respect this. Now, whether you agree with Republicans or Democrats, whatever side, I tend to be a libertarian-ish conservative, a conservative-ish libertarian, whatever you want to say it. I'm a constitutional, God-fearing American. I believe in the Constitution, and that's the deal. Okay, that's where I stand. I think the politicians on both the left and the right are really screwing us up. They're really screwing us over, and the majority of them are the problem. I live in the state of Indiana, where if you can't hit you can't throw a stone and hit an elected official that's not a Republican. Okay, and so 90% of the time, when the government's screwing up at the local level, at the state level, it's Republicans doing it. So I'm mad at these people that are in office. Okay, we don't have a raging Democrat problem here in the state of Indiana. So just bear with me. Okay. So in no particular order, I'm putting these up. Okay. Not people are going to be like, oh, he's a Democrat. No, I'm not a Democrat. Okay. But I'm sharing this. So this is the statement from the Delaware County Democratic Party. Okay. It doesn't say like, haha, we're happy, kill them all. No, it's very calm, and I appreciate this. So this is from the chairman, Andrew Dale. Statement from the Delaware County Democratic Party. The Delaware County Democratic Party unequivocally condemns today's act of violence against Charlie Kirk. Political violence is never acceptable. It undermines our democracy, weakens civil society, and replaces dialogue with fear. We believe the strength of our nation lies in the ability to debate passionately, disagree respectfully, and resolve differences peacefully. Violence has no place in our political process, regardless of party or ideology. We call on all Americans to stand together in rejecting political violence and to recommit ourselves to the democratic principles that unite us. Andrew Dale, Chairman, Delaware County Democratic Party. Solid statement. Solid statement. Okay. I was reading the whole time and thinking like, okay, maybe where are we going to veer off? Where's he going to say like, but? And he never did. Cool. All right. Got no problem. Here's a statement from the Republican Party. Okay. This is the Delaware County Republican Party. The Delaware County Republican Party strongly condemns the horrific and senseless act of violence against Charlie Kirk. This kind of brutality has no place in our nation. Democracy depends on an open debate, civil discourse, and the free exchange of ideas. Charlie Kirk demonstrated this by engaging with students and communities across the country, fostering robust civic conversations. Tragically, far too many today resort to threats and violence instead of dialogue. Attacking a presidential candidate or any national figure undermines the very foundation of our democratic system. This cannot be tolerated. Both parties must take seriously the growing crisis of crime and political violence. We must defend the right to free speech and ensure that Americans can safely engage in the marketplace of ideas without fear. As a pastor, I would also add that Americans need the hope and truth of the gospel now more than ever. I encourage everyone to join me in praying for the Kirk family and our nation during this difficult time. Our citizens deserve better than the current climate of hostility and intimidation. The violence must end now. Tim Overton, Chairman, Delaware County Republican Party. Okay. Great statement. Got no problem with it. Fantastic. Whatever. It's good. Okay. I'm fine with that. Okay. Political violence is rejected but not our children's lives. You're going to have to give me more than that. I don't know what that means. Okay, so I can deal with both of those. All right. Now, the reason I specifically read that to you is because I want to show you now a statement that's also coming out of Indiana. Okay. This is coming out of Indiana. This is from the Bartholomew County Democratic Party here in the state of Indiana. And this is very, very, very sad. This says, violent delights have violent ends. And I just, how does that help the conversation? How does that, what are we doing here? And let me say, that's not the worst. That is tame compared to a lot of the others that I've seen. Okay. And I want to also I want to put this up there so we can get this right, and I want to make sure that people are aware, so there's not there is no confusion in this. And so I want to apologize to Counselor Rose Selvey for calling her the president of the Muncie Human Rights Commission. The reason I called her the president is because it still appears that way on the City of Muncie's Facebook, or not their Facebook page, but their website. So as you go here, this is Muncie Human Rights Commission. About the commission, the office is tasked with ensuring that your rights as citizens and residents of Muncie, Indiana are protected. The focus is to promote equal opportunity and equal rights for everyone, regardless of race, religion, color, sex, age, sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, ancestry, national origin, or United States military veteran status. The commission is scheduled to meet on the third Monday of each month at 4:30 p.m. Meetings are held at Muncie City Hall, Engineers Conference Room, third floor. There's that. And so this says Executive Board, Rose Selvey, president. She's saying she's not. I believe her. She's saying that Stephen Knipp is the president. The other commissioners are Leah Britton, Wayne Scaife, Pastor Andre Mitchell, Jessica Fike, Rose Selvey, obviously, and Melvin Kelly. I would call for all of those members to call for Stephen Knipp's removal, his resignation. I think that what he said was just absolutely abhorrent. Listen, if he doesn't like Charlie Kirk, fine. If he wants to, and before anyone says, well, wait a minute, doesn't he have a First Amendment right? He sure does. But his First Amendment right to speak and to say that also comes with consequences, as does anyone else's and everyone else's. And because he is engaging as a public servant, his First Amendment right here gets him this heat. Okay. So for those that are asking what to do, there's a phone number there that you can call. You can email your council members and ask for their thoughts and their consideration. You know, a lot of them are not going to want to speak out on this. I think they should. I think they should condemn this. I think people on both the right and the left should condemn more violent language. What we need to be doing right now is not turning up the volume to 11 on the violent language. We need to be trying to back it down. We need to be responsible in our thoughts. If you want to get on, listen, that's the other thing. There are going to be those out there that say, you know what you do is crazy, and you turn up the violence. No. When I go and I speak truth to power to elected officials at the local, the state level, whatever, I first of all, I'm never violent or crazy. I'm never crazed. Okay. And let's see here. No, you don't have to. I like it. It's good. It's good. It's good. I like this. This is my favorite. Wait, where'd it go? Hold on here. Put this. Wait, how long ago did that come in? I love it. I love it. Anyways, the thing here is, I don't want people to also use this and say, well, look, these people that are out here calling us out and whatever, look, we got to be careful, because that's not it. I'm not going to be afraid to Charlie Kirk died today. We can't be hard on elected officials, or we can't speak truth to power, or we can't keep pushing the envelope. No, you absolutely can do that. Charlie Kirk would want that. Also, Charlie Kirk is not Charlie Kirk's family. Someone else said, do you think Charlie Kirk's family today is still supportive of the Second Amendment? What an asshole question. No, I don't think they're caring. I don't think they give a shit about the Second Amendment at this moment. They just learned that their father's dead. But because just like anyone else, but a few days out from this, they're still going to be conservatives. They're still going to think what they think and believe the way they believe. Though your beliefs don't just change because you go through. Listen, the one thing I can guarantee you is none of us are going to escape having loss in our life. Okay? You know that. This is absolutely. And I got my head on a swivel, buddy, so rock and roll. I'm just being, absolute with you. The thing is, your beliefs don't change because you go through hard times. There's not any of us that are going to escape loss. We're all going to deal with loss of parents, loss of siblings, people deal with loss of children, worst things in the world, and life still goes on. It's still going to go on. And those things don't change your beliefs. Charlie Kirk's family will get through this. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. His friends they're going to deal with this. Just like everyone else that deals with tragedy or deals with the loss of a loved one. Some people deal with it sooner than others. Some people deal with it more often. Some people deal with it, you want it to be always as late as possible, but we don't get to make those decisions. But at the end of this, their belief in all of this is not going to change. That would mean that his death was for nothing. Nick Oldham, as a society, people have forgotten to say it's okay to agree to disagree. I don't know a single person. I don't know a single person who agrees with me on absolutely everything, and that's okay. We have got to do better. Yeah, that's the main thing. I say that all the time. For long-time listeners, people that's here, I always say this. Number one, you are not going to agree with anyone. There is not a single person on this planet, not your brother, not your sister, not your husband, not your wife, not your mother, your father, your son, your daughter, your grandparents, your best friend, your twin. If you're a twin, you're not going to agree with that twin 100% of the time. The flip side of that is you're not going to disagree with that twin or person 100% of the time. For people, everyone out there saying, oh, I hate Charlie Kirk. I guarantee you there are things that you guys would have agreed on. You hate me, there are things that we're going to agree on, and even if we disagree, we're not going to disagree 100% of the time. You're not going to agree 100% of the time. If you say that you agree with someone 100% of the time, you are a liar. Period. Join Jen. That's for some. That's going to be very true. What the cat dragged in. I used to be a trolling dipshit Democrat non-believer, so I still have hope for those still on the other side, and I pray that the wicked and miserable learn to be better people. You know what? And I'm going to be very honest. I believe, and there are going to be people who are like, no, there's no way that's wrong. I believe that there are good Democrats out there. I know there are. I know them. I know people that are Democrats that are good. Just because you're a Democrat doesn't mean you're bad. I have friends who are progressive. I don't agree with a lot of the views, most of the views, but it's capable. People are capable of thinking these thoughts and having these opinions and still being good people. Just as it's possible to have conservative opinions and be an asshole, or it's all possible. It's the human condition, man. But the biggest issue that I have, biggest point that I want to say is we really need to do something about this ignorance. This pervasive ignorance that is rotting our brains like cancer. This ignorance is there. Intelligence. I hate that he died. I hate that we will never know who killed him. I hate that people chose violence over everything, but this guy would change the subject on every question asked. He debated things, and some people liked it and some people don't. Some people are going to be like, that's not how you debate. You don't do it like that. Other people are going to be like, oh yeah, he was an excellent debater. People are going to have those opinions. XYS7 says he was an asshole, nothing more. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with saying that. If you don't like the guy, that's perfectly fine to say that or to think that and to believe that. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess rather, fortunately, we don't get to kill assholes in America. That doesn't happen. And so, that's the thing. But this lack of intelligence that people have in being able to understand that this is what they want. They want us to say, I hate those people over there because they hate me. So we are not going to work together. We're not going to talk. I hate them and they hate me. That's what people want. That's what the people in control, the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, the deep state, the cabal, blah, 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 whatever bullshit, the evil, the devil, whatever you want to call it, that's what they want. They want us to say, oh, there's no coming back from this. There is. It's working together. It's talking. That's exactly right, Nick. That's exactly right. I won Lone Pantaloons. Charlie didn't get anyone to thank. He created a division. I can't really recall him debating. And again, that is definitely your opinion and an opinion. And I don't agree with that. I don't believe Charlie Kirk had no use in people hating one another. There's no point. There's no use in that. When you're going out and you're pushing a narrative, and he's pushing his side, he's pushing his beliefs. You might not like those beliefs, you might not like that side, but that doesn't mean, and he's not, I don't think he was naive enough to believe that, like, I'm going to change the world, I'm going to change everyone's mind, and they're all going to believe like me. I don't think he wanted that. I don't think anybody wants that. But you go out and you speak, and you hope that people will listen, and you hope that people will think. I mean, look, that's my goal. I'm not necessarily making you or hoping that you all say, okay, we're bowing down, we all believe what you're saying, we all agree. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I want you to hear. I want you to think about it. And my hope is that people will become educated and start engaging in the local system wherever you are in the world, whether that be somewhere here in Indiana or outside of Indiana. Engage in your local system, because I guarantee you there are bigger and crazier problems in your local area, bigger issues there than you could even wrap your mind around. And if you would start cleaning up that little neck of the woods, imagine if you went through in your area, whatever city, whatever community you lived in, imagine if you took care of, everybody says that, right? My place is so corrupt. There's never been a city or town as corrupt as my city or town or my county. We are the most corrupt county going. Everybody says that. Everybody says there's the most corruption in my neck of the woods than ever. So imagine if the people in your area really got their asses in gear and made a big change and changed. Say you changed half of the people, and you put half of, let's say out of the 30 people in your area, you put in 15 solid, good people, actual citizens that gave a damn about doing what was right, doing what they're supposed to do in your local area. 15 people, that would make a big difference. Some of those people would feed up to the state level. If we started feeding good people into local government, those people are going to farm themselves up to the state and to national. We have to keep doing that. People so caught up on fighting and bickering about what's going on at the national level, and everybody just says, oh, the local level, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what goes on, when in fact your local level of government affects you far more than the national government. Everybody's worried about what Trump's doing on the border. You know, it affects us all when we've got people pouring into our states and taking benefits and doing this and doing that. But you know who the border deal hurts the most? The people on the border. It's not hurting you in Podunk, Ohio, whatever. But the craziness in your little Podunk, Ohio county government, that is affecting you. It is hurting you. And if you would deal with that, you would make your situation far better. People have to start getting involved at the local level. And doing that, I think, would help build the bridge between some of the division, because at the local level, you're not dealing with Republican and Democrat issues. Yes, a lot of times they're running as Republicans and Democrats, but that shit don't matter. You're worrying about bringing in jobs. You're worrying about snow plowing. You're worrying about trash removal. You're worrying about paving and infrastructure of your roads and your bridges. That's what you're worrying about. You put to the side all of this craziness, all of the massive rhetoric of Republican Democrat. The problem is parties can't find common ground. I don't like you, so I won't talk to you, is terminal stupidity. And Cecil, that is very, very true. That's very true. And it's the it's that kind of thought that is the problem. Islam doesn't coexist with anything else. Yeah, and I understand that that here starts becoming the problem. We're talking about an issue, talking about a thing, and someone says, "Well, wait a minute. Don't you remember in 1776, the judges, they wore red and they didn't wear black, and it's a maritime law." And we start talking about, someone throws in some sovereign citizen bullshit, and it's like, wait, what are we talking about now? Or someone says, we're talking about trying to bridge the divide between the craziness and trying to tell people that there's not really as much hate as there is. If we would start to explore and dig around and through it, there's more common ground than what is being portrayed. And someone's like, yeah, but what about the Gaza Strip? And it's like, what are you talking about? What's that got to do with anything? People just need to slow down and breathe and take an issue at a time. Take one issue at a time. Now, let me look this up here. Give me 1 second. So there's a couple things that I'm disappointed about. Of course, the FBI is doing everything they can to screw this up. Kash Patel released a statement earlier saying, first off, in the shooting, they arrest an old man. And they take the old man down. They arrest him. There's video of them reading him his rights. And then almost as soon as they arrest him, they come out and they say, oh, the old man is not a suspect. The old man is not a suspect. Repeat. And then as soon as they say that, Kash Patel then drops something on his Twitter saying the suspect for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to the local and state authorities in Utah for your partnership with the FBI. We will provide updates when able. Okay? And then just about 30 minutes after he made that post, Kash Patel then made another tweet that said, the suspect in custody has been released after an interrogation by law enforcement. Our investigation continues, and we will continue to release information in the interest of transparency. What in the hell? First of all, he wasn't released. The old man was arrested for obstruction of justice, and I'm hearing that the university police took him in. Okay? So now we're hearing that what's the last thing? Is there a suspect in custody now or not? Okay, there is not now a suspect in custody. So the last thing that we are hearing is that is not what happened. Well, and then of course, there is video that has been released, and to my my knowledge, I'm going to try to play this here. Give me a second. We're going to put this up. There's now video being released of a man, a video where it looks as if there was a man on a roof of a building, of a nearby building. And try to pull this up here. Here. Do this commercial. Give me a second here. We got 3 seconds. 2, 1. Ah, damn it. Sorry about this. Give me a second. Someone said that, well, look, your security detail is not going to do anything if someone is on a roof from 200 meters away or whatever the deal is. However far away. I don't know, 200 meters. I don't know. I don't even know why I said that. However many feet away he was. They, first of all, I heard that they disarmed his surveillance, his security detail, which having guns wasn't going to help him. I mean, in that situation, he should have been behind some kind of glass or whatever, but I'm sure he didn't think that he was going to be shot. Nobody ever really thinks that, I would imagine. Try this again. Sorry, folks.
Just saying. He just.
Oh, they're saying
from over. Where's my finger? Well, from over there.
He'd already be in place.
Here's the roof. They're saying right here's the man.
On the roof,
I don't know if that's true.
Just saying. He just ran from over. Where's my finger? Well, from over there.
This is certainly not the same as the video footage for the Trump assassination. I mean, that's not looking the same there. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's been put out. Let me see here with the where we are with the latest. Live coverage of
not just a typical story that was unfolding. This was someone who they were very close to. Charlie Kirk was a constant presence here at the White House, even during Donald Trump's first term. So there's a profound sense of sadness and shock here at the White House. Even
more Americans.
Here we go. Here.
news than any other news organization.
American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith.
Nose ring theory. What the hell's that?
His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials.
You sent it to me where, Fish?
Everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York.
I see it.
To the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others. Radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Okay, so listen to this.
You by the Soundstand reported one individual that was shot, unknown where the shooter went. And let's be advised, UVU in Orem has had an active shooter at the Charlie Kirk event. We're getting several calls. We're trying to get more information.
They requesting it.
We're not sure yet. We're just trying to get units that way.
I don't call out.
I think that said we're on call out, not don't call out.
Center 500 West, till no further.
Yeah. North, do not respond code at this point until we have more information. There is law enforcement on scene.
1014, we've patched UVU and regaining.
Calling, but we can't get any.
Rest, please remain in the city.
Yeah, Ned, it's pretty crazy.
How many injured do we have?
Just one person. Sounds like maybe another individual.
Okay, that was that. And let me see. I think I've got one more.
10 East, 600 North. Maybe the CS building is just east of the library. He's wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle.
Okay, so this was when the first call came in. Now, I've been waiting to the end.
Blue Honda Odyssey, no plate.
35. And East 600 North. Denver.
To UVU, there was one shot. We are staging at the front of the school by the roundabout.
Is on top of the building on the far north side, just east of the library, wearing jeans, black shirt, black vest. We are regional currently.
Interesting.
34 from Medic 35. Other victims. Break all incoming units. You guys can cancel. We just have the one victim.
Okay, so that was the dispatch traffic from
UVU by the sound stand reported one individual that was shot, unknown where the shooter went. And let's be advised, UVU in Orem has had an active shooter at the Charlie Kirk event. We're getting several calls. We're trying to get more information.
They requesting it.
We're not sure yet. We're just trying to get units that way.
Don't call out.
Okay. That's the end of that. Okay, that's the end of that call. Now, I do. Let me show you this. Here's a little bit better shot of what it looked like. The guy on the roof. Let's see if this looks like what this is or what this is exactly.
Getting right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying? He just ran from over, where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in. Now he's right there. Just saying, just. Getting right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already.
Kind of a weird thing. Okay, so I've been waiting until the end. So there's a lot of people. there is a lot of thought about this, about people, and I see you guys are talking about it in the chat about how they play this. They let it play out on Facebook, and they shared it. It was on Twitter. Da 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 da. When John Kennedy was shot on Friday, November 22nd, 1963, and they immediately go to Parkland Hospital in Dallas, Texas. And Jackie's in there, and she won't leave his side. She won't leave him. The only time that she wasn't with him is when he was actually in the surgery room with all the people around him. But other than that, she stayed with him. And they tried to get her to change her clothes several times, 2 or 3 times, and she would not do that. She kept saying that she would do it on the plane. She'd do it when she's back on the plane. And then when they brought them in and they were going to swear Johnson in, they brought her the change of clothes, and she said, no, I'm not going to change the clothes, because she knew that Johnson's swearing in photos would be taken. And she said, I'm going to make them see what they did to him. And that always spoke to me, because a lot of times, and I know you guys are talking about like, oh man, it's really gruesome and it's bad and it played out, and people are questioning whether that should or should not happen or whatever. I agree, when you've got school shooters and you've got things like that, to not say, it's a good thing to not say the name of the assailant, the bad guy or the bad guys or bad girls or whatever they are, because you don't want to give them the infamy that they're looking for. You don't want to give them the notoriety. You don't want to encourage copycats and other weird shit. And I agree with that. But in something like this, I think it is important for people to know what is done. I think it's important that people see that we don't hide away from the brutality of things, because it is important. So I've waited to the end. I am going to play the video. I've got a video. And so if anybody does not want to see it, you can tune off or turn away or do whatever. But I am going to play the video. We'll just play through it one time, and I am going to put it up here. Don't go away yet, but I will give you trigger warning before we put it up. It's only a few minutes. It's just a few seconds. So don't go anywhere crazy yet. I will give you the warning before we put it up. But I do, yeah, I mean, it is reality, and people need to be aware of what happened, and hiding and shying away from it only helps. It makes it not real. And so I think it's important for people to see should happen. And oh yeah, you could clearly tell that he was. I mean, it was not a like. They said it. I watched it, and I was like, "There's no way that he's not deceased." And they were saying that he was still in critical condition, and yada yada yada. Okay. And listen, his team did a good job. I mean, you know, there's not a whole lot you're going to be able to do in something like this. Really, to be honest with you, you know, it's very difficult. It's you know, it's going to be everything's going to be reactionary. So okay, we're going to do this. We're going to play 2 videos. The first video is 1 minute and 18 seconds, and the second video is 5 seconds. And so I'll put this up here, and listen, I'll be honest. These are not, in my opinion, this is not any more gory than the Zapruder film. So if you haven't seen this and you're questioning whether or not you should watch or you want to watch or whatever, it's bad. It's sad. It's horrible. I agree. I mean, I don't know. But we're gonna watch it. We're gonna play it the one time. We'll keep it here because I just don't want people to get rid of things like this. I want it to be there and then have it so people can't whitewash this crap. You know what I mean? I think that kind of stuff's important. So we're gonna watch this. Yeah, you're good. Okay, here we go.
So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Too many. Okay. Now 5 is a lot, right? I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Okay, so that's that. And then this is probably just so you're aware, this is probably the more graphic of the 2. And just FYI, it is what it is. Here we go.
Not counting gang violence. Great. Not counting gang violence. Great. Not counting.
Okay, so there that is. And then the only other aspect is there is a here's the other angle.
In America over the last 10 years. Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Holy shit.
All right. Well, that's it. So that's that. So thoughts and prayers are definitely with his family and his friends and loved ones that are going to be affected by this. Just horrible, horrible situation. And that's that. So obviously there will be a lot more in this. There's going to be a lot of content on social media over the next forever from now from this. So, just try to engage with a little bit of intelligence and understanding. And I am calling for Stephen Knipp to resign and or to be removed. He is not an elected figure, so he certainly can be removed by somebody. I don't know if that's the mayor or the council. I'm going to look into doing that. I know Roe. I appreciate Roe speaking up and clarifying that. And I apologize that I said that she was the president, but they have her listed as the president. So maybe that's something they need to deal with. I don't know if she's the vice president or whatever. I don't care what position she holds. She's a city councilor. She should call for his removal. The rest of that body should call for that dude's removal. And just think, maybe do this. If you're starting to engage someone on social media and they are one of the ones that have, no understanding or no common sense in this situation, maybe just don't engage them. Just don't give them that chance. Just say, to hell with it, and move on to something of more value. So, you guys take care. God bless. Hold your loved ones close and understand. Make yourselves right. Do your thing. If you're a believer or whatever, you know what that is, because that happened in, like they say, a blink of an eye. So keep that in mind. You guys have a good rest of your evening. God bless each and every one of you. God bless America. Thoughts and prayers to the Kirk team and family. We will be back tomorrow, Thursday night. That's the end of the week, the last night of the show, last show of the week, rather. And we will be back tomorrow. Don't know what we're going to be covering, but we'll let you know. You guys have a good one. And hey, there's quite a bit of you still here. Smash that like button on your way out the door if you could, please and thank you. And we will see you then. One last one. If you're interested, sneak over to the other YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Bilbrey Clark Show. The Bilbrey Clark Show will start airing static recorded content Saturday, September 27th at 3 p.m. and every Saturday after that. So go check that out and subscribe if you're so inclined. Hit up the Facebook page, facebook.com/Bilbrey Clark Show. And we will see you back here tomorrow night. Take care.